A very good day to our respectful educator, Dr. T. Today, our group will be presenting on our topic, which is the impact of foreign direct investment to economic growth in Malaysia. Before I start, let me introduce you to our groupmate. First, we have Noor, Felissa, Najwa. Second, Norfahimazatul, Nazira. Third, myself, Alyaa, Izzati, Binti, Jumri. Next, we have Nurul, Amirah. And lastly, we have Husna, Nadhirah. Our presentation consists of 5 things. First, we have the definition of foreign direct investment. Second, the literature review. Third, data and methodology. Fourth, the finding of our study. And lastly, we have conclusion. As we all know, the foreign direct investment is an investment made by a firm or individual in one country into business interests located in another country. So, for the purpose of this study is to study the causal relationship between the dependent variable and the independent variable. For the dependent variable is the economic growth in Malaysia, while for the independent variable for this study is the foreign direct investment. So, I will pass the presentation to my friend Amirah.
Thank you, Alyaa. My name is Amirah, message number A158567. Now, I will discuss the literature review. The role of FDI on economic growth have been widely discussed in the literature. The majority of the researchers found that FDI may improve economic growth positively, but to a different extent depends on the various factors and the countries. Here, there are some of articles that we found have positively impact on economic growth in Malaysia by using empirical methods. I will discuss 2 articles from this. Okay, as you can see at the red board, this article from Dr. Muhammad Shahidan, Tin Ho Hong and Siti Norwahida in 2012, they are studied the relationship of the foreign direct investment on the real gross domestic product in Malaysia. They use the 3 methods to find the result, and for the first method, they using VRR with a co-integration model, and they found that foreign direct investment give a positive impact on economic growth in Malaysia. Next author is Tias Al-Zaidi, Muhammad Nasim bin Nias Ahmad and Zakaria in 2017. This article about the impact of FDI and the financial development on economic growth in Malaysia. From this research, what we found that FDI can boost long-run economic development through technological progress, capital accumulation, and human capital. So means FDI has a significant positive impact on economic growth in Malaysia for the short and the long run. Okay, next we go to the next article that also give positively impact on economic growth but by using the statistical methods. So, from author El-Sadid Ahmad in 2012, this article about to identify are the FDI's inflows spillover effects on Malaysia economic growth input driven. So, from this article, FDI plays a significant role in the Malaysia economic growth from hypermarket to electronic and electrical investment. The relationship between the human capital, the technology spillover effects, and the labor force provides the potential effects on FDI to enhance Malaysia economic growth has an input driven in economy. However, the contribution of the human capital offers the strongest evidence in the influencing Malaysia economic growth, and MAEs play a major role in bringing economic development. Nevertheless, have some articles that we found no significant or negative relationship on economic growth. The first one from authors Musa Rashid Muhammad, Kashmir Singh Jiksing and Chung Yu Leung in 2013. They study with applied vector error correction modeling (VECM) to analyze the long-run causal relationship between foreign direct investment, domestic investment, and economic growth in Malaysia. And the result is no causality was found to exist between FDI and the domestic investment. On the other hand, and between FDI and economic growth on the other. Last but not least, from Atas Muhammad Al-Qadir Sultan Ahmad, Mani Marin Pandurigan, and Khalid Kalam in 2018, they studied to this article about the foreign direct investment determined in Malaysia. They have investigated the effect of FDI on the manufacturing industry growth in Malaysia. This study determined the relationship between FDI and the country's economic growth in the manufacturing industry from the period of 1918 to 2005. The authors argue that there is no relationship between FDI and GDP in the manufacturing industry, as there is an insignificant result of the research. Okay, that's all from me. Now, I will pass to the next presenter.
Next is data and methodology. For the data collection, we focus on two variables, which is independent variable and dependent variable. For independent variable consists of foreign direct investment, while dependent variable consists of economic growth. The data we collect for net FDI inflow and net gross domestic product GDP for Malaysia are taken from World Data Bank, and the period is from 1988 to 2018. The data for FDI inflow is in billion dollar, while GDP in form of percentage. The method that we use to assess our study is by transferring all the data that we get from World Data Bank to statistical software SPSS. And the data will be analyzed by using a multiple linear regression test, and it will be presented in forms such as descriptive statistic, correlation, model summary, ANOVA, and the correlation analysis. So now let's look at our finding. First is descriptive statistic. From the table shows that FDI inflows mean is 5.97687 and standard deviation is 3.883841. So we can conclude that FDI inflow have a high standard deviation, indicating that the data points are spread out over a large range of value. While percentage of GDP is 4.0720 and standard deviation is 1.87822. It means that the percentage of GDP has a low standard deviation, that the data point tend to very close to mean. Now, I will pass to the next presenter that will present our next finding.
Thank you, Nazira. I'm Husna Nadhirah. Now I will continue to present for our next findings, which is correlations. Correlations are about relationships between variables. As you can see, the sample size for this analysis is 31 years, which is the data from 1988 to 2018. As the result that we get from the correlations is 0.142, but it is not significant as the p-value is 0.446 greater than 0.05 because the sample size of 31 years might be pretty small. Now, let's move on to the next findings, which is ANOVA. As the result from ANOVA table, for F value we get 0.597. Next, we can see that the p-value of the table is 0.446, which is not statistically significant because the p-value is greater than the usual significant level of 0.05. Therefore, it is not statistically significant with one of the predictors, which is independent variables, which is net FDI inflow in billion dollar, does not reliably predict the dependent variables, net FDI inflows, in percent of GDP. So, that's all for my part. I will pass to the next presenter to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Husna. Now, I am Felissa and I will continue to present our finding for number 4, which is coefficient. From the table above, we can see that the FDI inflows of billion dollar is not significant because it is above the 5% level of significance, which is 0.446. So this method fails to reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, there is no relationship between the independent variable FDI and dependent variable economic growth. So last but not least is model summary. This table provides R and R2 values. R values represent the simple correlation 0.142, which indicates a low degree of correlation. Meanwhile, for R2 value, it indicates how much total variation in the dependent variable. So the value that we get for R2 is 0.02, which means a total of 2% variance in economic growth has been explained. Next, I'll pass back the presentation to Alyaa to continue conclusion part.
Thank you, my friend. Now, I will continue the presentation to the last part, which is the conclusion. After using multiple regression linear method, the result that we obtain from this study is the relationship between FDI and economic growth is not significant. The result from our study is differ from our literature review. From our analysis, there is no significant relationship between these two variables, but from our literature review, most of it has a significant relationship between FDI and economic growth. Our result is varying maybe because of our sample selection, our estimation technique, and our selected time period differed from our literature. So, we can conclude that it is not necessary to say that foreign direct investment stimulates economic growth in every country. That's all from our group. Thank you.